The next step to our Baseball Anywhere series would be different types of throwing exercises that you can do given the space available for you. Obviously, if you have a chance to get outside and play catch with your dad or a friend, that'd be our number one thing that we'd want to do. I mean, just because we can work on so many more skills with our baseball game if we're outside throwing, then that adds in the receiving. We can move into some long toss where we can see fly to ball. That'd be the number one thing that we'd want to do. The second would be if we could find an outdoor batting cage that we could go to and work at. As you know, sometimes in your neighborhood or the Little League field nearby your house or the high school field might have a batting cage that you can get into. Just be like, take a couple of balls there, do your warm-up drills, and then go into a long toss, simulated long toss. Obviously, you're not going to see the flight of the ball, but the flight of the ball doesn't determine your intent. I tell kids often, like, if you're out long tossing and you're trying to throw the ball as far as you could throw it, you're trying to throw it 350 feet. If a bald eagle flew down and caught that ball 10 feet out of your hand, it didn't change your intent. If the eagle let that ball go, it's still going to go 350 feet. So if you visualize throwing the ball 350 feet and get your body moving aggressively, you have a chance to still train the same way in a condensed format. Did you have anything to add?
No, just on top of that, it's when you guys go through this throwing program, if you are on your own with a dad or a brother or into a net like this, throw the way you would train around your coaches and us. Like, too many times, guys get on their own and they just go through the motions and create bad habits. So think about the things we've talked about with glove size, with how your legs move, getting a little bit of tilt with your shoulders when you get some long toss in. Try to stay on that same plan and focus on what your body's doing so you continue to progress. If you go the other way and you just throw it to throw and you're creating new bad habits, you're going to digress and go the wrong way. It's going to be harder to break those habits you guys have already done a good job of building. So make sure you have some good focus and intent on what you're doing when you guys go through this throwing program.
All right, we're going to give you a couple different options if you aren't able to get out on a field, or you don't have somebody to play catch with, or you don't have a batting cage to go to. The next option would be, like, you can take just items you might have around your house. I mean, you might have a tennis ball that you used to throw to your dog. If you have just a normal size hand towel that your mom would use in the bathroom, ask her permission first, or a kitchen towel. These are roughly 3 ounces, all right? A baseball is 5 to 5.25 ounces, so you add in the tennis ball, it's gonna be slightly heavier than the normal implement. But when we wrap this thing up, if I just wrap it up and tie it together, as I get it tied together, now I can throw this ball safely inside the house or the garage or the basement, depending on where you can throw it. Now, what options do I have to throw this thing in? You don't have a net in the house, but there are some options that you could do in your basement or your garage, or even if you have a carport or a deck at your house that maybe has like a ceiling on it. But if you have if your family has like some C-clamps or something, or any type of clamps that you could clamp to a 2x4 and you could hang a towel from it, that'd be one option that you could just hang. Or if your mom has an old sheet she would let you use, that'd be another great option. Even a tarp that you could fold over a couple of times. But you could hang this thing anywhere, in your garage, basement, in a carport. Obviously get permission from your parents before you start doing stuff like this, but this is an old beach towel I had. Your family might have one, but it just gives you options, something you can throw into, kill the velocity of the throw, and you don't have to go chasing it down. The advantage of having the tennis ball wrapped up into the towel is that if you did make an errant throw, this thing isn't going to go very far, and it's not going to break. It's not going to put holes into a sheetrock, into a door, anything like that. It's going to give enough that and the towel wrapped around is going to kill the velocity. It's going to feel fast out of your hand, but it's not going to have the same velocity at the end that would put a hole into something if you're just throwing a tennis ball, say. And we wouldn't want to just throw a tennis ball because the resistance is not the same as if we were throwing a baseball. Remember, the baseball is about 5 to 5.25 ounces. This might be slightly heavier, but we'd rather throw something slightly heavier than slightly lighter. The advantage of throwing a heavier object is it's going to make your arm path more efficient. And it'll build some strength into your shoulder and your body delivering the ball. When you use other underload implements, your hand tends to go faster. which does create some danger, especially if you aren't in really, really good shape. So we just want to be careful doing any type of underload throwing.
And then with this, when you guys have this in your hand with the tennis ball inside wrapped around a towel, you can hold it just like you hold a baseball. Okay, that's the cool thing about it. It's going to be round in there. It's going to feel, maybe it's a tiny bit smaller, but you can get your fingers on top of it and actually throw it like you guys normally would. So it makes it pretty realistic. And if you don't have the option with the towel or throw it into anywhere, you can use a mattress, talk to mom or dad and flip your mattress up on the side, or even into a couch, into the sofa, toss it into there. Just keep building the arm strength, just the arm health overall. Make sure you're getting your amount of throws in, so you guys aren't backtracking when you guys have some downtime.
A secondary option would be just to use a couple of hand towels or shop towels or dish towels and do the same thing. You could even get some duct tape these towels up, and then wrap them inside the towel, or just keep them like this. It's going to be bigger than a baseball, but if you wrap some duct tape around it, it'll condense it down. And the same thing, if you're throwing into your mattress laid up against the side of the wall, or you're throwing against a towel, it's not going to have enough force if there was an errant throw to do any damage inside your house. Obviously, we want to throw this next to your mom's fine china or something, but obviously we'd want to do this in a condensed space and in the bedroom or down a hallway, something like that. Or if you have a rec room, or the garage would be a really good place to do it.
So the other thing with this, when you're going through your throwing program, you can do really any drill with this. You can do our warm-up drills, you can go through rockers, you can do some step behinds, you can do some hooks. And then also you can work on every single aspect of pitching with this stuff in your hands like you guys would at baseball. So you can go through from your windup, try and feel some rhythm in that delivery. Go from your stretch, simulate like somebody's on first base. Yeah, get your sign like you normally would. Come set, work on different hold times, mix in some slide steps. Guys on second base, mix in your looks. Work on those things that, sometimes when you're in a bullpen setting, you can't work on as much as you would like. That's going to benefit you a ton during the actual season. So if you guys can, just try to work through those different situations in your mind and focus on your different hold times, controlling the running game, mixing your different leg lifts, those small things that are really going to help you guys progress and give your catchers a chance and give your team a chance to win. Sometimes we just get in throw mode and we are on that same rhythm every time with the same leg lift, and stealing bases on you gets pretty easy. So take this time at home to work on those small intangibles that helps you become a good pitcher, not just a good thrower.
To build off what Matt said, would be just to visualize things happening in the game. Having a good fast runner at first base that is a threat to steal bases. So we'd want to change our rhythms, and what that means is how long we come set and hold the ball for. Sometimes we want to come set, pitch quick. Sometimes we want to hold the ball for a long time, make them wait, pitch. Then we can add in slide steps, leg lifts, and we could even do our pickoffs. We just turn our back to the target. I'm going to look at, come set, and work on having quick feet and a short arm action so it's just very intentional practice. It's deep, thorough practice. Don't just mindlessly throw, all right? There is a conditioning component that you could do this, so just get your throwing in, but when you're getting your pitching practice, then you can take it, just as far as you want to take it. And when you're doing your throwing, you could even grip off-speed pitches. You can grip your changeups, you can grip your curveballs, and work on all that different stuff. Obviously, these implements aren't going to break like a normal baseball would, but getting in the correct hand positions and doing those type of things where you're simulating things in your mind as close as you can to what a game is like.
Yeah, but you guys feel free to get as in-depth as you want with this. You can script out your whole throwing routine from your warm-up to your drills you're going to do, to your mound time and your pitching time. Script out how many throws of each one you want to do. Then you have a good idea of what your total workload was for the day instead of just mindlessly going through the motions with this. So feel free to script it out and have a daily plan written out of how you want to attack it.
2 reminders when you're doing your throwing programs. One is if you have a towel set up and you're at a close distance, if I'm throwing and I have a towel, I wouldn't want to throw the ball right in front of my face as I'm throwing the baseball. Why? Because it's going to create a bad movement pattern. We're not a pitching machine. We don't spit the ball out of our mouths. I release the ball here, so I'd want to be, if the towel is directly in front of me, I'd want to be slightly to the side, so then I'm working on my arm path staying the same way. All right, if I'm right in front of that, I'm working on getting out in front. Well, we don't throw the ball like this. Our arm comes out. Now, everybody may have a different arm slot out here, but we'd want to be slightly to the side of our towel and then just visualize like we're throwing the ball. And I'm talking about if the towel is, 10 feet in front of you. I don't want to be slightly to the side and throwing the ball into the towel. The other would be if you don't have a ability to put a mattress up or hang a towel. Throwing into a couch is a good idea, but again, we don't want to work too much on throwing the ball down and right in front of us. It's going to mess up our release point. We're going to be throwing the ball down on the ground. So if you could stack like some couch cushions up on top of each other, or even if you have some outdoor patio furniture where you could like set it up on something and throw the ball at that. So you're releasing it more at head height rather than throwing it directly into the ground. All right, Matt's going to demo a couple of our throwing drills. The first two being our arm action drill and our rocker drill. They should be the daily drills that you do normally at the facility. He's using a tennis ball wrapped inside of a towel right now. So again, we're looking on restricted flight. Now we have this towel set up on a screen, but it'd be something that you could set up in your house, whether it's hanging from a door jamb or in a 2x4 out in your garage. But just an idea of what you could do in a small space to still get your throwing done. All right, Matt's going to demo the arm action drill, just like we do in our daily warm-up. Good. Again, you can work on a lot of different things. You can work on your glove side. You can work on getting your shoulders turned, releasing the ball out in front of you. All things, again, keep your eyes on line where you want the baseball to go. Right, now he's going to switch into a rocker drill. He's just going to get set up, feet spread, eyes on target, hands together. Rocks forward, back, comes through, rotates up over his front leg to finish.
Definitely different feel, release point wise.
Yeah.
Do one more.
Okay, now Matt's going to go into a step behind. He's warmed up. He's thrown 10 or 15 throws at each spot. Now, as he's warming up and he's throwing this different implement, it's not going to be as accurate as you normally throw a baseball. This is more about keeping your arm in shape and keeping it in condition. All right, anytime we take more than 10 days off from throwing, we put ourselves at risk for injury. So this is when you get some really bad weather, or you're going through a situation where you don't have somebody to throw with, where you can still get your work in, and you can keep yourself from at risk from injury. So don't get caught up in the result of where the ball's going. But now he's going to go into shuffle and throw after he's done 10 to 15 throws of each of the first two drills. Trying to stay really smooth, get a good shuffle, build momentum into the throw. Good?
Yep.
All right, so now Matt's warmed up. He's going to take this into a little bit more of intentional work here. All right, so what we mean by that, he's going to be focusing on some different things. All right, now this first one, he's going to act like he's got a runner on second base. He's going to check the runner twice. The guy at second base is not a big stolen base threat, so he's going to do a high leg. He's going to do a high leg kick, and he's going to deliver the ball to home plate, just doing a normal pitching delivery. All right, so as you go through this, you just change the amount of looks that you look at second base. This time he's going to do just one look. Again, not a fast runner, so we're just making sure he stops his feet and then deliver the baseball. All right, now he's going to switch. He's going to have a runner at first base. Now this guy we don't know. He's kind of a semi-threat to run, so he's going to do more of a modified leg lift. He's not going to come up to a full leg lift, but he's not going to slide step either, all right? This guy's not super fast, but we think he might be stealing. And sometimes if you slide step, the runner will just stop. Now we think we have a chance to throw this guy out, so this is the advantage of having all three leg lifts, a high, a medium, and a slide step, is you give the chance, okay, you can run, but we're going to still throw you out. You're not going to stop it because we slide step. As you have runners at first base, we want to change the length of our holds. All right, so Matt held the ball for a pretty good long time that time. This time he's going to use the same leg lift, and he's going to have a quicker set and then deliver to the plate. Good. All right, now we got the speedy guy on. All right, so again, we're gonna change our rhythms. Base runners are looking for you to fall into some sort of habit or rhythm where you're pitching on the same timing every time. So we always want to be conscious of switching up our timing. And base sealers want to run right away. So the best thing you can do to get it's a good base sealer is hold the ball on them and make them get frustrated and then pitch. Good. That was more of the slide step, so he's being much quicker to the plate. All right. Now he's going to do the same thing. He's going to slide step and just be with a quicker rhythm as he comes to the bottom of his hold. Do you want to show him a pick?
Yeah.
Now he's got his back to the target, so he's going to pick off to first base. So he's going to work on a few different things. Quick feet, short arm action, and then delivering the ball to the first baseman knee high. Let the first baseman make the tag. We don't want to throw the ball down by the base because if we do make an errant throw, it's really tough on the first baseman. Throw the ball knee high to them, let them apply the tag. Very good. Very good.